To prove the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference, construct OC. So if the value of C1 is x, you would see that triangle OCA is a isosceles triangle because OC is equal OA. So if that is the case, therefore the angle of A will be equal to x. So the same will happen on this other side of the triangle. We have the radius OB and the radius OC. So therefore the angle of B will be equal to y because it is equal to C2. So now that we have proved the angles, we can now determine the angle of O1 and also determine the angle of O2 by using the sum of angles in a triangle. So now to determine the angle of O1, we would say the sum of angles in a triangle, which means O1 plus angle of A plus angle of C1 must be equal to 180 degrees. The reason is angle inside a triangle are supplementary. So now we're going to substitute the value of A as x and the value of C1 as x. So when we do that, we will find that O1 is equal to 180 degrees minus 2x. Similarly, the very same thing will happen now if we want to determine the value of O2. Looking in the triangle OCB, we would state that O2 plus B plus C2 is equal to 180 degrees. Those are angles inside a triangle. They are supplementary. Substituting the angle of B as y, the angle of C2 as y, we would get that the angle of O2 is equal to 180 minus 2y. So now that we have the angle of O1 and angle of O2, we can now determine this angle we are looking for, which is the angle of AOB. So we can do this by calculating the angle surrounding a point. Remember, angles around the point, they add up to 360 degrees. The reason is revolution or angles around the point. So now the angles around the point is this angle, which is AOB, and the angle of O1 and the angle of O2. So we know O1 is equal to 180 minus 2x and O2 is equal to 180 minus 2y. So if we simplify this, the angle of AOB is actually equal to 2x plus 2y. So now if we take out 2 as a common factor, we can clearly see now this angle is equal to 2x plus y. So notice that the angle of C here is equal to x plus y. So therefore we have proved that the angle at the center is 2 times the angle at the circumference.